What a fun activity.
I feel like they're kind of, once they're all lit, that's all just going to, blend in really well.
It's literally going to be lit.
Lit is going to be lit. Welcome to the SheerLuxe Team Podcast with me, Charlotte Collins. This week I'm joined by Sherri Andrew, Georgina Blaskey and Polly Sayer. Hi everyone.
Hello.
Hello.
I'm so happy to be back. I've really missed the podcast.
We missed you.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Oh, right, it has been a while.
Yeah.
I've been in New York twice.
I was going to say, it's the jet-setting lifestyle.
Yeah.
I know. I feel like everybody is like, shut up, we get it, you went to New York. I know.
It's hard.
It's been hard, but last time I was on the podcast, I was going to New York the next day, something like that. And then we ended up going back to New York, Georgie and I, which I won't talk too much about. I won't spoil it because there's enough content coming around that. But we had a very fun 24 hours in New York, and it turns out you can go to New York for 24 hours. How's everybody else? Sherri, we were just admiring your makeup today, which looks flawless.
Stunning.
Thank you. You know what? That is truly the best compliment you could ever give me. So thank you.
You're welcome.
It's the Dr. Jar ceramide spray. Ceramide? What's that word?
Ceramide
spray. And it's really moisturising, and it just pulls your whole look together. It gives you like a dewy finish without
So how
looking
do
too
you
oily.
use it? I don't really use like these kind of
it's so
sprays.
easy. You just shake it, go, that's it.
Well, like
You
on
shake
top
it
of
and
the
you
spray.
spray.
Over foundation.
Well, you could do it under, halfway in the day, at the beginning.
But it's so, like,
Yeah.
I would worry about putting a spray over my makeup that wasn't a setting spray and making it dissipate, but it obviously doesn't do that.
No. I use like a by Terry setting powder, so it's all kind of like set a little bit, not too much, and then it just for a bit of glow, really, and some extra moisture.
I don't use setting powder, do you?
My makeup just sort of slides off my face halfway through the day sometimes, like I feel right now, and maybe I could do with a setting powder and a setting spray.
Do you use one?
Yeah.
No, although I had seen myself on one of the shows looking particularly shiny once, and so Becky Hull suggested a by Terry, I think it's called a hyaluronic powder.
Yes,
Is that the one you got?
Yeah.
But you
OG.
can go quite heavy with it's the brush.
Yeah.
Basically, just like it's like a magnet. Like what are they called? Iron filings. It like picks up all this powder, so you've got to like really tap it off. Because I did once look a bit ghostly.
How are you, Georgina?
Yeah, I'm good.
What's going on? You're wearing excellent boots today.
Yeah, really nice
This is
boots.
their debut.
They're the Zara boots.
For those listening, what shirt do they look like? Please.
It is a ankle boot in a. It's quite a white, I would say.
I'd say it's pretty white.
Yeah. Pointy with a high heel. I guess it's about 9 centimetres probably. It's quite high.
3 or
Just,
4
do we do
inches.
heels
actually.
in centimetres?
Yeah, I think we're doing inches.
I'd go inches.
Well, I think you'll find on the Euro website it's like 9.5 centimetres.
Is that really how they measure it?
Yeah.
It's like when someone gives you their height in centimetres, I'm like...
Yeah, I'm
What does
1
that
metre
mean?
95.
Well, I
what?
can't do weight in kilos. That throws me.
Yeah, that throws
I'm
me. And
definitely
temperature in
stones.
Fahrenheit.
Yeah.
This is one of my most annoying things about my husband. He always gives me the temperature in Fahrenheit. I'm like, am I American? No.
Is he American?
No.
What?
But it's really annoying.
But like you roughly know.
No,
You
I
really
would not
don't.
have a clue.
Really?
Temperature,
Clueless.
nothing. Measurements, temperature, no.
Oh, I feel like temperature. I'd be more like comfortable translating a temperature than a
Really?
measurement. Yeah.
But like, we never in this country, like, we are not Fahrenheit people. And when he gives me, it's like 100 degrees today, and I'm like, who the fuck are you?
Well, you know it's hot. You know what it means, don't you? It's not. Chilly. 100 degrees. Like,
I'm like, I need
get the gist.
specifics.
Yeah.
Do you want to type it
every
into Google?
degree counts.
Yeah, it really does. It does.
Anyway,
so back to the
they look
boots.
very good. Not that comfy.
Actually, they're okay.
You are sat down right now, though.
I am sat down right now. I did.
Molly.
I came to work
Super
in
humble.
trainers. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah,
But,
they're not
did you?
commuter boots, are they?
but you
that's
cycle.
okay.
I cycle. So.
Oh, fair enough. Yeah, I'd be so impressed if I saw you cycling in those.
Yeah, I would love to see that.
Well, you never know. One day it might happen. I think I am going out later, and I did think to myself, can I manage to walk from my house to the pub at the end of the road in these? Or will I need to change into trainers for
So
those?
really comfortable.
Yeah, that's a big
When
endorsement.
you're sitting down.
Thing is, you don't always need to buy boots because they're comfortable. Sometimes you just need really uncomfortable boots that look fucking
100%.
amazing.
Well,
So
and let's
true.
be clear, white boots, they're just not practical full stop. Like,
100%.
I'm not buying these for a
But I do
practical
want
moment.
them.
So, like, they're not practical in the sense that obviously they can get damaged super easily, but I do think they're super practical, like in a fashion sense. Like I really have.
Define
I've always
what
wanted-
practical inner fashion says mean. Does that
You
mean like
practical in your wardrobe.
So you
Versatile.
can versatile. Okay,
Yes.
I love that.
Yes,
Practical in the
your
fashion
wardrobe.
sense equals
Yeah.
versatile.
Yes.
I'm
Yes.
buying that. Yeah.
Okay, let's go with it. Mine are, I've got a very similar pair, also from Zara, but mine are much lower, and actually they're really comfortable.
Yes, they're like the kids in here.
Keep us posted on whether you can walk to the pub in them or not.
Do you know what? I'll report back tomorrow.
Please do.
Yeah.
Can I just say though, I saw a girl the other day on an electric scooter in the tallest high heels I've ever seen.
No way.
And she just got on and sped away, and I was like,
Iconic
wow.
behaviour.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
iconic.
Yeah.
So if you don't want to cycle, maybe
Maybe I guess.
We should say we're not advocating that people do this. That's
no.
probably
It did look so dangerous, but I just thought like, wow,
But it looked good.
Yeah, it looked really cool.
Polly, how are you?
Yeah, fine, thanks. What can I report
What can
on?
you talk about? Skirts off 6 today.
Oh my god, yeah, I'm wearing the world's shortest skirt. I just feel like they're getting shorter and shorter, but
I don't think they get shorter than that.
No, you really would be able to see
think
my bottom if it was any shorter. But I bought this for weekday, and I thought it was a good dupe for my Frankie Shop one, because I've got it in like a beige colour, and I was like, oh, black will be useful. And then it arrived, and picked it up, and I was like, that's a nice child skirt, isn't it? Put it on, and I was like, can I get away with this? I actually spent...
Yes, you can.
Yeah, you can.
Well, thanks, but like I tried to decide what I was going to wear to work today. Like I spent about an hour and a half last night just flitting between going, no, I can't wear that to work. Yes, I can. No, I can't. Yes, I can. And then in the end, I was just like, well, fuck it, I'm going to wear it anyway. And
here we are.
Here we are. I'm sorry if anyone sees anything today in the office, but
I think it's great. What's your tip for putting off a very, very short skirt?
Jesus. Bravery. Confidence. No, I think going for a jacket that's maybe a bit longer. I also wear a pair of like booty shorts underneath the skirt, so it feels a bit more like secure. Like if I were to, the wind were to blow it up, at least people would just see a pair of black shorts.
Yeah.
That's maybe a life
really
hack
good.
for me. Otherwise, it's just a dose of bravery and confidence.
Has anyone got anything to recommend? Sherri, you had a new podcast on your radar.
So it's not that new. I think it's been going for about a year, but I've only just discovered it. It's called Cocktails and Takeaways, which isn't the best name. Doesn't really tell you what it is, but it's like a pop culture podcast, which is right up my street. And it's by this amazing influencer called Madame Joyce, and she's quite big in, I would say, like the black entertainment world. So she's always with like My Jammer and Stormzy, and she's just really cool, and she is hilarious. And it's one of the only podcasts that I've listened to in the last few months where I'm actually like laughing out loud when people look at you in the train like, oh, are you okay? And I'm like, yep, just Madame Joyce's jokes today. But no, she's really funny, and they talk about everything, like a bit of like highbrow, lowbrow. But yeah, she's just so funny and really relatable.
Is it her with a guest every time?
Yeah, so it's a guest every time. And then also, I didn't realise on Spotify, if you're now listening to a podcast, you can also watch it.
Sherri, including the SheerLuxe podcast.
Indeed.
There is something quite mesmerising about just watching people have a conversation, isn't there?
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I really recommend it if you want to something very light-hearted. And also, I love a long-form podcast. I think they're about 2 hours long.
Oh wow,
That's so great.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So you get content, you get bang for your buck.
Yeah. I hate when you have like 15 minutes and you've got to find a new, you haven't downloaded one, you're on the underground or something, and it's all just
Boring. Give me the content. So yeah, it's really good. It's really fun.
Okay, try that.
And thanks.
Georgina, anything to recommend?
So a while ago, I read Daisy Jones and the Six, and I am recommending a trailer, which is a bit weird. But if you were a bigger fan of the book as I was, it's Taylor Jenkins Reid who then wrote Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, Malibu Rising, lots of books that, lots of people are enjoying at the moment. Anyway, I think Reese Witherspoon snapped up the rights. It's going to be on Netflix, and I just watched this 5-minute trailer. It's quite long, and it was sort of all about, so it was interviews with the cast, interviews with her, and then loads and loads of clips of them performing, rehearsing, singing. And I just got very excited, and I still don't know the release date, but I honestly, if you're into that, then look up the trailer and get excited, because I think it might be either by the end of this year or very early next year. Okay. And it's going to be a series.
Oh, it's a series. Okay, so what's the book about?
So the book is about... So I read it and thought it was all real. And then I was doing it in book club, and I was told actually the whole thing's fiction.
Oh, I see.
Just totally passed me by that bit.
As in you thought it was an autobiography? Or you thought it was based on true events?
So it's a woman who is interviewing several band members from what is kind of... So the band's called Daisy Jones and the Six, but I have found out since, and anyone else reading it probably would have grasped this straight away, but I obviously missed that bit. It's basically based on Fleetwood Mac. It gets into kind of LA in the 60s, 70s, towards the end of the 70s. there's drugs, there's rock and roll, there's concerts, there's big stadium tours, there's a lot of friction in the band, and it just goes really deep into all of their relationships. And the book is this young woman who is interviewing each band member, and she goes forwards and backwards between them all. So I thought it was real that she had actually interviewed all these people, and some of it is incredibly funny, and the way they all talk about they talk about the same events in completely different ways, and it just is such a fantastic way of highlighting how we all see things so differently, even though you're all in the same room experiencing the same event or the same argument or whatever it is. Anyway, so the whole TV show is going to be looking at everyone's different points of view. Ooh. But it's like the fashion, the music, and so I was then Googling the albums and music of Daisy Jones and the Six, going, why are they not on Spotify? Why are they? I don't understand. It's really weird. And I was kind of like talking to my husband, going, I don't get it. And anyway, eventually it was my daughter who delved deep down into it and found out. She was like, because they're not real. No. I was like, you are joking.
Do you want to read it again now? Do you feel like you need to go back knowing it's fiction?
No, I just think I need to pay attention to the start of books more because clearly I should have got it.
Yeah. Do you know what I mean though? If you think something's fiction versus if you think it's reality, I feel like you absorb it in a slightly different way.
Well, what made me laugh at the end was because I was thinking, God, I was quite surprised how candid they were being. They really were giving a lot away. And they could have got sued by each other for what they were saying. I felt there was a lot of information out there. Anyway, if you loved that book, and a lot of people did, watch out. Okay. It's going to be good.
I feel like I need to read that book.
It's Sam Chalfin is the main guy, who was in Me Before You.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So he's kind of got the whole 70s thing going on. Yeah. Looking very cool.
Polly, anything to recommend?
Yeah, I watched the new Florence Pugh movie called The Wonder at the weekend, which is on Netflix. Yeah, I actually really enjoyed it. I wasn't expecting to. It's a kind of, would you call it a period drama? I guess so. It's set in the 1860s in rural Ireland. She's an English nurse and she's sent to Ireland. It's just after the famine, I think, to go and watch a girl who's 11 years old, and she claims to not have eaten anything for 4 months. And I guess the idea is that they think it's potentially some kind of religious miracle, but they also wonder whether there's something else going on there with the family, and she and a nun are told to sort of alternate every 8 hours watching this girl to check if it's all legit and whatever. And Florence Pugh, becomes quite sort of invested in that girl and her kind of character, and Florence Pugh's going through her own kind of emotional, personal turmoil anyway. I kind of don't want to talk about any more of it because I think it will give too much away. But I did just really enjoy the story and was quite gripped by it.
Yeah,
cool. I read the book. Yeah, I read the book. I feel like Tor recommended it years ago, and it was quite harrowing.
Yeah, it is harrowing.
It was quite upsetting in the end.
Quite a twist.
Yeah,
there's quite a twist.
It is quite a twist.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know. I feel like if you don't mind darkness in things, like I'm kind of.
It's not a jolly story.
No, it's certainly not a jolly story,
twist.
but I think, not everything I want to watch is super jolly.
Yeah,
anyway. I kind of prefer some.
And Florence Pugh's just brilliant.
Yeah, I think
amazing at the moment.
She's so talented. So I'm kind of into watching anything that she's in.
Yeah,
really.
it's Emma Donoghue, isn't it? The author.
Yes,
she wrote
I think so.
Room, which again is pretty
Yes,
harrowing.
I never read or watched Room. I haven't seen it.
Rooms, yeah.
Great book, great movie. In fact, both her books, because I watched the trailer for The Wonder at the weekend, and in the end I didn't watch it, but I definitely will. It looks amazing.
It's interesting because I never, having read the book, I never would have thought of it as there are some books that you read and you're like, okay, totally a film, but that's not one of them.
It almost felt like it could have been a play.
Yeah, it's kind of small and all takes place in one room, and it's all just quite slow, and it's about her uncovering, from what I remember, just this thing. But
then it almost feels like it is playing on that at the beginning, because the opening scene is of like a film set, and you're like, okay, well, this is weird because I know it's set in like rural Ireland in like the 1800s, but they're like then pans over to the kind of the set in Ireland, and I suppose the idea is that like, I don't know, like we want you to believe the story, we're nothing without stories kind of thing, so it plays off that a bit. But I do think it was a good movie. Could have been a play too.
I've heard the director talking about it in interviews and talking about that function that they use at the beginning and how it's quite a kind of unexpected.
Yeah, it's jarring,
shocking, really jarring kind of beginning for a film.
Yeah.
And isn't somebody says something, don't they? They go really close up on someone's face, and I think it is what you just said, or
she's like,
a version of something about
this
storytelling.
This is a story about blah blah blah, and the people who wrote this story or in this story believe this story with like staunchly, and we invite you to kind of believe in that, because we are nothing without stories.
And that's the point, right? Because the whole, the people there believe so strongly that it's a miracle and it must be a miracle.
Yeah.
And I guess it's the whole thing is about what we tell ourselves and what we believe to be true, and it's quite meta, really, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's cool.
it is.
There was a recent mini-series with Jessica Chastain about a couple. It was a remake about a couple who were married. They use the same technique. So at the beginning, you see them entering into the set, like through the kind of makeshift MDF wall, past the kind of sound guy or whoever, and then they arrive and they start the scene.
Yeah. And that's how they finish the OA. Do you remember?
Oh my god, yeah.
The OA ends like that. If you haven't seen the OA, that's kind of not a spoiler to say, because I couldn't even begin to tell you what that meant at the end of the OA. But if you haven't watched it, I think it's one of the best things I've ever seen.
Yeah, I completely forgot how good that was. Yeah,
incredible. But that's exactly how it ends, and it's just like it's Jason Isaacs he's playing Jason Isaacs all of a sudden. It's really weird.
Yeah,
it's really good.
It's that whole fourth wall thing.
Yeah, that's the one. That's what I'm thinking of. It's like, this reminds me of like GCSE media studies. Like, what does this mean?
I love it. I know. Speaking of, I've got a show to recommend. It's not a play. It's so much less highbrow than that. But I went to see, it's just called Tammy Faye. It's Tammy Faye the musical. It's on at the Almeida Theatre in Islington. I think it might be sold out, but there is no way it's not transferring to the West End. So keep your eyes peeled. It is, the music is written by Elton John and the lyrics are written by Jake Shears from the Sisters.
Oh, cool.
And they've been working on it for 10 years.
Wow.
So it's a coincidence that Tammy Faye's story, Jessica Chastain was in the film The Eyes of Tammy Faye, which won an Oscar she won an Oscar for it earlier this year, which I really recommend. I've talked about it on the podcast before. She's great in it. Tammy Faye, for those who don't know, was an evangelical preacher, a television, what do they call it? A telepreacher or a television angelical preacher, whatever. Not angelical, you know what I mean. Her and her husband, a guy called Jim, were the biggest preachers on television. They had their own network in the 70s in America, and I mean, they were so big. They had like amusement parks that rivaled Disneyland. Like, they were enormous. But it's not a spoiler to say they kind of ended up accidentally laundering money. Anyway, they have a terrible end to their story, but the story around them is kind of the rise and fall. And in particular, she was a real advocate for gay rights, which was, of course, so not kind of the way of the church in those days. So this is the musical version of her stories. As I say, written by some real heavyweights. It's starring Andrew Rannells from Girls, who also played the lead in the Book of Mormon when it first went on Broadway. So
cool.
if you've ever listened to the soundtrack, or he won Tonys for that. He plays whatever the main guy is called. And so he's playing the husband, and an actress who is Olivier Award-winning British girl is playing Tammy Faye, and it is brilliant. It is like Hairspray meets the Book of Mormon. It is like the campest, funnest, most over-the-top musical. It's got heart and soul, but it's got like, proper toe-tapping tunes as well. Anyway, it's super LGBT friendly, and it's just like a really fun, camp, over-the-top musical that, as I say, with that team behind it, can only be destined for the West End. So if it comes up, book tickets, because it was so much fun.
That sounds
That's
really
fun.
Yeah. So feel good. Was it feel good?
So feel good. You came away being like,
yeah.
So yeah, amazing. I highly recommend it. We're going to share some news, some relevant news. Everybody's come armed this week. Mine's not really news. It's not news, but I thought it would make some good chat. So we'll come to me last. Polly, I'm going to come to you first.
Ooh, okay, yes.
What have you brought for us to chat about today?
I brought an article from The Times, which is basically talking about David Beckham's association with the World Cup, which I'm pretty sure everyone knows about. He's taken a £150 million deal to be an ambassador for the World Cup. The article is written by Harriet Walker, who is the Times fashion editor, and she's sort of saying, will this World Cup tarnish his brand?
Because Bram Beckham,
I mean,
pretty airtight,
and actually, he is not
until now.
He's not without his controversies over the years. This is not the first thing to kind of rock the boat a little bit, but he has seemed to have kind of got got past those, got away with those pretty scot-free, including that whole furore with the leaked emails a couple of years ago to do with his knighthood. And that was almost like, fuck, that could be a real issue. But you know what? He's kind of got past that. You know, getting in the queue is really... Yeah, I think it did wonders for his image, but then people are sort of saying...
So he thought...
Maybe because he knew this was coming.
Yeah, you're so right.
Well, I think that's, you know, what people are saying is that was that just a bit of a tee up to give him some good... some brownie points ahead of knowing that he's going to get some shit because of the World Cup. Anyway, there's just like some back and forth about whether... You know, can we separate his association with that? Or, you know, actually, is that going to irreparably damage his reputation? I don't know what you guys think.
Sherri?
Oh, gosh. Yeah, I think the reputation, in my opinion, is in tatters. I just think that is so much money for one person or one family to have, to not only go there, but also be an ambassador. So you're essentially...
Championing.
That's the word. You're championing everything that represents. I don't know if everyone saw what Joe Lycett did. So he actually made a very interesting point. He was like, David Beckham, you have been a gay icon for many years. Your fashion, you married a Spice Girl, like you had all this like campness about you, and the LGBT community thought you were very iconic with VB. And this was like a massive step back. And he actually said, if you don't go back on this, I will shred, I think it was £10,000, which he actually did.
But I don't really get this. Like, I understand that he's making a statement, but I'm not sure why shredding £10,000 of one's own cash. And was it fake?
Yeah, it turns out it's fake. He has donated that money to LGBT, which I'm glad he's done, because I think people would have been like, in a fucking cost of living crisis, what's the point?
I still don't really see the point.
No, but I think, his spokespeople, he himself, have just not made any comment in response. So.
We should make it clear that obviously, for those who don't know, the controversy is because the World Cup is being held in Qatar, who don't allow homosexuality in any... You know, it's illegal to be homosexual there, and that is the, you know, aside from many other human rights issues, that is kind of where the Joe Lycett conversation has come in, and why people are kind of, well, for several reasons, but one of the key reasons why people are unimpressed by the involvement of some celebrities. I mean, I think, Sherri, even if that wasn't the case, right, even if it was in, like, I don't know, somewhere entirely uncontroversial, accepting £150 million, if you're already worth quite a lot of money, feels like quite a distasteful thing to do right now.
I guess that it would never have come to light, right? Like, we would probably have never found out how much money he has earned from being part of the World Cup if it was held in France, for example. But it's because it's being held somewhere that's notoriously quite controversial in terms of human rights generally, that figure is now released, because people, I guess, want to be angry about it, and rightly so. Like, I think it's, you know, a misguided choice, possibly. I think we were talking about it the other day. It's either that, like, he didn't know the background and like the rights of gay people in Qatar, in which case that's a massive oversight, or he did know and his team did know, but they decided to accept the money anyway, which then feels a bit like, oh, it's kind of crap either way.
Well, the FIFA argument was that it was, I think it was 10 years ago that, or maybe even 15 years ago, that this World Cup was awarded to Qatar. So I think that the hope was that they might have sorted out some of those human rights issues before it began, which maybe was, I mean, presumably somebody like Beckham has been attached to it for a very long time, so perhaps it was also just kind of naive hope.
And I was trying to do some sort of reading about it before this to get a slightly more balanced view, because I think it is very easy to just get like, well, I'm very angry about this because I've been told to be very angry, and so like, I guess in their culture, if you're gay and you show a public display of affection, then you can be arrested. But that can also happen if you're a straight person. So public displays of affection are not okay, regardless of your gender and sexual preference there. And apparently the leader of Qatar and the officials have all said, like, you know, we don't care what you're, you know, if you want to book a room as a homosexual couple, do what you want in private. We don't want to know about it. You can still do that. However, people are also reporting saying that some gay couples are being turned away from booking hotel rooms in Qatar during the World Cup. So I think it's really complex because, you know, a lot of people are saying, well, we should respect that their culture is incredibly different to ours and they're a Muslim country. But then if it's meaning that, gay people who want to go and enjoy the World Cup are physically being turned away from being able to do that, even if they're doing it in a respectful way, then that's where the problem lies.
Well, it's also about the rights of people in the country. So you can great that it's an even playing field in terms of public displays of affection, but my understanding is that if you were caught even having a homosexual relationship in private, it would be illegal there, and that's the question
and that is
mark. And I'm totally with you. I think it's so interesting, that idea about respecting a culture, and I get that. I do get that, but I suppose there are some things that just feel kind of black and white, aren't there? Georgina, what do you think about it?
Well, I just think it highlights the completely ridiculous situation we're in, where there is a World Cup in Qatar at all.
I think you're right. Yeah,
I mean, it's just another. To me, it just feels like one of many.
It's symptomatic of the whole thing, isn't
it? It just shouldn't even be. The fact we're even here, it's all about money. The only reason it's in the world that the World Cup is in Qatar is obviously a hell of a lot of backhanders, and here's another one.
Yeah.
So I'm not surprised. I'm sure there's loads more to come out and will come out. I think there'll be some people who've been treated really horribly while they're there that will all be. What
apparently.
Will happen. And on the radio, I was listening to Chris Evans, and he was saying yesterday that they've released more guidelines, because they're apparently almost doing them daily. And the guideline that had been released on Monday morning was, body tattoos do not constitute clothing.
I'm not sure anyone thought they did.
Well, exactly. But it's kind of this weird take on... So
exposing
whilst we all might go, well, it's really weird, their culture and what their ideas are, it's obviously mirrored right back at us, where they're thinking, oh, well, if they've got like a sleeve, they then think, a tattoo sleeve or some body tattoo, or that therefore constitutes that they're covered.
Yeah.
And that they think we would think that, which I
justify
don't think anyone in our country would think.
Totally.
I've got a tattoo on my chest, therefore I don't need to wear a t-shirt.
Yeah.
Like,
well,
really?
There are some football hooligans out there who wouldn't be.
But that's in the moment of whipping your top off in a frenzied, expression of joy at a goal or whatever. That isn't,
Totally.
So it's just. I just find the whole thing extraordinary anyway.
It is, It's sad that we're having to talk about these things. In 2022, it's just like... Although I guess it does highlight that not everywhere is as liberal and accepting as the UK.
Makes you feel grateful.
It's really grateful. And for me, who is not someone in the queer community, it makes me feel like I have to check my privilege that I'm so lucky that I can go abroad and not have to think about things like that.
100%.
That makes me really sad.
Yeah, really sad. Yeah.
It is, yeah.
I do think, a lot of people will... We put something on Instagram yesterday about... a similar kind of conversation, and there were a lot of comments also saying that it's very hypocritical to criticize Qatar when there are so many things that Western countries do wrong, and we should clarify that it's not an isolated, that you can't, it's not that anybody's criticizing Qatar and not criticizing anybody else, and it doesn't mean that everywhere else is perfect, but this just feels like a kind of particular slap in the face for so many marginalized communities, which I guess is is a bit of a shame. Sherri, what have you brought to chat about?
So mine's a bit more light-hearted again. So this is
We're just going up and up in the light-hearted.
Just no bow to me. The much mocked belief that the stars control our destiny has found a credulous new audience. So it's about star signs.
This is in the Times.
This is in the Times, again. So star signs and how people are taking them just way more seriously, particularly in relationships, and compatibility, whether you're Aquarius, Gemini, whatever, is really important for a lot of people.
Does it say why people are now taking this more seriously? Like, where's this come from?
Basically, it's the industry. So there's apps, there's, you can read it online, it's more accessible, whereas before it was seen as a little bit woo-woo, perhaps. I think now it's just a bit more mainstream and a little bit cooler, maybe.
Yeah.
Don't know if that's a...
It is,
it's
it's
like
funny.
crystals and like, not
people
all
are,
together,
I think people are way more accepting of just like things that were previously seen as woo-woo, like, saging your house and like...
crystals by
crystals,
your bed.
and like I've got a friend who literally carries a crystal everywhere with her because she thinks it's like, I don't know, good juju or something like that, and I'm just like, I mean, geez, if it does, whatever.
Sure. Nothing wrong with a placebo effect.
Yeah, and like things like CBD obviously getting so popular. I guess
you can put CBD. It's like a scientifically.
No, but okay, well, whatever.
It's about alternative.
Opinion, I think it's a bit
lifestyle.
questionable. Personally, I certainly don't buy into it too much. But people are generally a bit more willing to experiment with these things
This
and
is true.
believe them.
Yeah. And I also think in these troubling times, people want a little bit of escapism and
Yeah.
something that you can't
It's
really prove
comforting.
it.
It's comforting.
Yeah, comforting.
But is it not like a new religion?
I was
Yeah,
just
I was
about to say,
gonna
it's like
say,
how
yeah.
people turn to religion, isn't it? Yeah.
We don't believe in God
Spirituality.
anymore.
It depends how far on the scale you are. You know, I just dabble when it suits me, really.
Yeah.
When my star sign is good,
weekly
otherwise I don't
astrology.
believe it.
So,
Yeah.
exactly.
So what star sign are you?
So I'm Aquarius.
What are you?
Taurus.
Pisces. What are you?
Same, babe.
Pisces.
Pisces babes.
Ooh.
That's so Pisces of you.
You know when people say things like that, when
I'm
they're
like-
like, "Oh, I'm such a Gemini."
Yeah.
I have no idea.
No,
what
I
that means.
don't either.
See, you saying your star signs, I couldn't tell you what month they were.
No.
And I couldn't tell you what
No.
the sort of
Oh,
defining
okay.
characteristics are. So you're something watery.
Yes,
Yeah,
as is
water
Aquarius.
sign.
Yes,
Obviously.
water signs.
Water
I think
signs.
quite good.
And that means you're what in April? March, April.
February. January to February. Yeah.
Yes, Aquarius comes before Pisces.
Yeah.
And then it's Aries.
think
Aries for
Sorry,
April.
what are you?
Yes.
Sagittarius.
Aquarius.
Oh, Aquarius.
And sorry, what were you?
Taurus.
I did not listen.
Taurus.
Taurus is what? October.
May.
We don't know. No,
Earthy. Earth sign.
Yeah, Taurus is a good
okay.
one. We're
Is
very
it?
compatible on friendships.
Oh,
Oh,
That's
wait, so do
nice.
tell. Right, so I would like to know who
Okay.
I'm compatible with.
Anyway, I have a compatibility for relationships. So I did me and my boyfriend.
So what's he?
He is a Gemini, which, in my opinion, if you're a female Gemini, that could be quite controversial.
Oh, really?
And a
It's
little
like
bit
split
annoying.
personality vibes, right?
Kind of, and like big main character energy.
Oh, okay.
Whereas male Geminis tend to be just all round good eggs. In my
that's
experience,
Gemini.
Your
so that's
experience.
good. In my
I
experience.
didn't know that it was nuanced depending on your gender.
I might be making this up.
Okay, sure. We'll
Again,
we'll go with that.
I just do it.
Fake
so it suits me.
Sure. Okay, we'll take that.
Anyway, our compatibility is 85%,
wow.
which I thought is quite good according to the stars.
That
Thank
is
you.
quite good. Yeah.
Yes.
That means you can stick with them. You don't have to dump him.
Exactly. You're safe now, Limit.
I feel like sometimes people use their star sign as an excuse for why they're
100%.
behaving like a dick.
True.
So agree. Oh, I'm just.
Sorry, I'm just
Sagittarius.
Scorpio.
Sorry.
Sorry.
They're like, oh, I'm
possibly
just
comment.
so direct. I just have to say what I'm feeling, and it's like you're just being
You're
rude.
rude.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just ask.
So
Shall I check
I'd
someone's?
love to know how compatible I am. Well, so
Okay.
Ben is on the cusp.
Oh, is
He's
it?
the 15th of Feb, so I think that makes him, by some interpretations,
I think it's
Aquarius.
Aquarius.
And others Pisces. Let's find out both, and then we can.
No,
pick
it's
which one.
around the 20th. I thought it was later in the month, not mid-month, that they changed.
Let's Google it.
isn't it?
I'm pretty sure that's
Isn't it?
Aquarius. 'Cause I'm the 11th, and I'm not on the cusp.
I thought it was like the
they shift
22nd,
the
23rd, 24th. that you
Pisces.
moved. No, because you're
Maybe.
born the star sign you're born in. You
Dates.
stay.
No, but a few years ago they shifted the dates a bit,
Yeah,
didn't they?
February
Yeah.
19th to March 20th.
Yeah, so then
There's a
people
13th.
became different star signs.
Oh, yeah, they
That's
did.
true, because there was a 13th.
They added. I was going to say they added something.
Yeah.
Yeah, they added
Oh
a.
my God, I didn't know that.
Star sign.
Yeah, but it was a star, maybe, or moon.
Oh, maybe it was
Something changed in the
but
astrological
actually
world
astrological.
that changed the star
Astronomy.
signs. But I like to go by the originals because I
Okay.
Okay.
Anyway, so Ben is Aquarius.
Okay, Aquarius and you, Charlotte,
Pisces.
are Pisces. So
I feel like that's quite incompatible with water.
let's see. Oh no, I was looking at the wrong one. I was going to say 88. No, you're 45%.
That's not great.
It's not great
That's
odds.
not great.
It's
That's
not
less
the
than-
lowest.
It's not the lowest, but it's
Oh,
not
no.
way quite far down your sheet.
Actually, no.
What's the lowest?
The lowest for you would be a Cancer.
Okay, what month is Cancer?
July.
Yes, July. Yeah. I
So
think.
when you're looking to trade Ben in for a new
For
model,
my next husband.
yeah,
Yeah.
avoid
No
the
cancers.
cancers.
Okay, noted.
Can I do me and Matt?
Yes,
So
of course.
Pisces and Gemini, please.
Pisces and Gemini, 53%.
That's not
Great, is
either.
it? I mean, better than
Marginally
Charlotte
better than
Ben.
us.
Oh, sorry, I have little. Actually, they're not colour coded because it's in black and white. But we'll go with your natural partners and highly volatile.
This is where I do think I call bullshit because we just never argue.
That's a no. Wait, what was mine?
Yours is great sexual chemistry.
That's what keeps the magic alive after 13 years.
Georgina?
So Gemini and Taurus.
Oh no, 33%.
Georgina, I think it's time to break up.
That's it. Sorry,
Who
babe,
should
it's
Georgina
over.
be with? What's her
Although
most
what I
compatible?
find-
So you
but-
should be. You should be with a Capricorn. That's 98%.
Oh, what?
What month's that?
January, but Capricorn men are the worst. They actually are evil.
Evil
Yes,
men,
Evil.
okay.
Are
The
they?
stars say they're evil.
I'll stick with my all-round
Yeah.
good egg Gemini, even if we're incompatible. I feel if he's an all-round good egg, he's going to make it work, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
What do I know?
What is the 33%? What's the like, you know?
The
Yeah, what's my blob?
Yeah.
Oh,
A little
true.
blob of grey.
True. As I said, it's in black and white, so I'm guessing.
Because the colour goes Great. No one knows.
You're guessing.
Eeny, meeny, miny.
I'm just chatting shit. Harmonious. I think it's more accurate to get your birth chart read, which I actually have done.
I have too.
okay.
And that was really accurate.
Wait, what do you get? What do they tell you?
It's like loads of circles and lines and points and stuff, isn't it?
Yeah, it's quite confusing, but it's like the actual specific day, time, place you were born, what moons were around, what stars were alive, all that.
What do you get from that,
Stuff.
though? Is it like a fortune-telling thing?
No, personality things. Like they can confirm that you are
Yeah.
X, Y, Z.
But if you know you're grumpy, or you're late, or you're
Yeah, but it's cool to know
difficult,
Yeah.
like, you know that, right? I mean...
But isn't it cool to know that it's been dictated by this moon? The
But
day
like,
you're born?
imagine saying that to like your grandparents, like, "Hi, Granny, I actually got my like birth chart read, and like, this is it." Like, they'd probably be like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah.
You little yuppie.
They're like, no,
I
you're
actually don't
just
agree with that.
rude because you're rude, not because of your moon.
But these practices are old as time.
Are they?
Yeah, of course.
Doesn't
they
mean
are.
they're true.
No, it doesn't mean they're true, but I don't think they're like modern day new age.
No,
Yeah.
no. I mean, it's just interesting.
Yeah. And if nothing else, it's fun.
It's
Yeah,
fine.
no, sorry,
We've
I don't
we've
mean to
had a
bash.
lull.
Yeah.
So long.
Exactly.
That's fine. We'll
Each
take
to
it.
their
Quite
own,
relief.
Sherri
So do you
and Charlotte.
do you actually read your horoscopes? Do you read them every week?
You know what? Interestingly, I always did when I was single, but now I'm in a relationship. I'm like, I don't
Is
care.
he coming? Is he coming yet?
Literally. So no, I actually don't. So that's what I was using it for, clearly.
Okay,
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
Georgina?
Thinking.
No.
No, you definitely don't.
So we'll give you that impression.
Well, I can tell you that we run horoscopes once a month on SheerLuxe, and it is one of our most consistently high performing pieces of
Really?
content. So
People
don't
love
knock
it.
Lots of very, very popular. Okay, so mine comes from The Guardian. They wrote a list. I'll read you the title. It says, "Need a lift? Here's 53 easy ways to add cheer to your life as winter looms." And it says, "It's cold and dark out there and it doesn't feel much better in here either, but help is at hand. From baking rude biscuits to walking backwards, try one of these quick, cheap and moderately silly ways to beat the gloom." So
love
they're not
this.
claiming that these are going to, solve the energy crisis, but they are claiming that these are kind of quick fixes to
Yeah.
make yourself feel a bit more jolly. So I thought I'd run through some of them and do a poll as to who actually finds these jolly inducing
Please,
or
yeah.
not. So number one is start Christmas early, and they say do it now, put the tree up, snack exclusively on quality streets, and only watch bad films about big... we didn't talk about the film.
You've really ticked that box, haven't you? You've
I-
actually done all of
well,
those
so have
things.
you.
Watch a bad Christmas film.
Yeah, you
I've
did
not
that.
watched
Your
a
tree's
bad-
up.
My tree's up, but I haven't watched a bad
Your
Christmas film
tree's
yet.
up.
My tree's
Oh,
undecorated,
wow.
but it's going to be decorated.
Yeah, I
as
put it
of
up for the
tonight.
weekend.
Oh,
Earliest it's ever been put
wow.
up.
Do you always go early?
No, this is the earliest we've ever been. It's been getting like week by week earlier every year. I don't know, it really brings me so much cheer.
Yeah.
To like see my lovely twinkly Christmas tree in my living room, and I just thought, yeah,
good.
literally.
This is what it says.
Case in point. So please talk about that awful film that you watched.
Oh wait, I thought you watched it.
No, I haven't seen it.
Oh, I watched it.
You watched. I
Falling.
knew you watched it. Falling for Christmas. So this is the new Lindsay Lohan film on Netflix. It's her new Christmas movie. Somebody was saying to me this morning that somewhere like quite like reputable, like The Cut, or like somewhere that isn't, like doesn't like talk total rubbish, said that it was better than average, which I would contest. I would say if like an average Christmas film is maybe like, I don't know, what's an average Christmas film? Like The Princess Switch. Average.
Oh yeah, same.
I'd say this
type
was
of thing,
yeah, although I would say this was like significantly worse.
Yeah, I agree.
On many
actually.
levels.
Yeah.
Out of 5, what would you give
No,
it?
a hard 0.
I was
Oh,
0, not
I
even
don't-
1. Oh god.
No, it was
okay.
really bad.
Yeah. Although, you know what? Lindsay Lohan, I was just glad to see her
Yeah.
back.
It's true. And I
That's the
kind
reason
of,
why I watched it.
and I did about you, but did you finish it?
No.
No, right. Well, I
I
did
will be
watch.
finishing it this weekend
Okay.
because I promised my friend that we watch it together.
Okay, fine. So I watched half, and then I went back and watched the other half, and I think it's out of loyalty to Lindsay.
Yeah,
I was like, I'm
it's
going to
mainly
just
for her,
do
isn't
it
it?
for her. Yeah. Anyway, it's not great.
Oh, shame.
It's
not
not
great.
great, but it is again, it is fun.
It was fun.
And festive.
It was. And I didn't have any quality streets, but I did have a mince pie.
Oh,
Girls,
nice.
natch.
so great.
Not cheap.
Not
Not cheap.
cheap.
Okay, it also says have a fondue.
I've got a fondue machine. It's
Do
fantastic.
you?
Yeah.
God, you're all over this list.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'm really coming to my own around winter.
Did you write this list?
Sounds like I did.
Go electric. Discover the life-changing power of an electric blanket. Electric blankets creep me out a bit.
Oh, I had one at uni.
Did
Really
you?
liked them.
Nice?
Yeah, very nice.
Again, winning on the list.
Can I tell you
Turns out
what I would like? I was saying to Lou the other day that I would really like a hot water bottle for my feet, and I wondered if it was one, and I googled it, and it is a thing.
Oh.
It's like imagine kind of a hot water bottle base, and then it kind of goes up and over. So it's like a cushion that's a hot water bottle with space for your feet to slot into.
Oh my god, I have been thinking
That's
that 'cause
cozy.
sometimes my toes are the only thing that are really cold. But
Ditto.
I like rest my hot water bottle on my feet.
Exactly, and it's really hard to balance it on
Really
your feet.
hard.
Or you can get a dog, and you can just get your dog to lie on
do
When I
have
put my feet under my dog, he moves.
Yeah,
Selfish.
he
He's
doesn't
like,
like
ugh, get off.
he doesn't like to sleep on my feet. He's like up in my face here.
Also, your dog's
So-
quite small. Would he cover your feet?
He's not
Not
that
that small.
How big are her feet?
Would he cover those enormous feet of yours? I just don't know.
Just to verify, he's definitely bigger than that.
Frighten yourself sentences is number 4, and it says, according to a 2020 study, fans of horror movies appear to have lower psychological distress and increased levels of psychological resilience. I don't like horror films.
Oh no, I hate
No.
horror films.
My favourite horror film is Scary Movie, which is a horror
not really.
comedy.
Yeah.
Although
There's
it is
a
quite-
few
it's quite
jumps.
scary.
There's
It is
some,
quite
like,
scary. Yeah. And number 5, turn to jelly. Make like Mrs. Beeton, enjoy the simple pleasure of a perfect jelly. See, my dad loves jelly. And we've got loads of jelly moulds at home. And he always, if he's got like the boys over for bridge, lads, then he will spend the whole day and he'll get like, he's got like a, it looks like a spaceship, and he'll do, this is so sweet, he'll do layers, different coloured layers. So he'll do like layer 1 in red, and then he'll let it set, and then he'll do another layer. Shit, I've never realised my dad's like a jelly mould.
He's so sweet.
Oh my God, that's
I don't
hilarious.
love jelly, I have to say.
No, I don't.
I love jelly.
Do you?
But I know I'm
Do
in the minority, and I wouldn't make a fancy. That's very impressive. Wow.
Yeah, it is actually.
Did you get him to send a picture of it?
Yeah, I mean, it happens like once every 2 years, but I won't necessarily do something I will. I quite fancy, I love the aesthetic of a jelly mould, particularly those kind of, those brass, old-fashioned ones, and I'd actually quite like one, I think, just to have in my kitchen.
Nice.
Jelly?
Well, when I was little, I actually remember buying that kind of round cheese packet, and you
yeah.
were meant
Georgie
to melt
loves it.
it in
Would you
hot
eat that?
water. No, I would just rip it off like a sweet and eat it.
Ooh,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Does that.
No, it was
Isn't that
way
really
nicer
sweet?
like that, wasn't it?
Well,
Like,
the flavour was so intense because it was meant to be diluted.
Yeah,
by
as a
about
kid, you're
5
like,
times.
"Ah,
I was
yeah."
like, oh, yummy.
Have you ever eaten a sweetener?
no.
You do that once in
Oh
your life.
no! Oh no!
Is it not good?
I remember doing it when I was about 9.
Ooh,
Oh my
no.
god.
Ooh,
Yeah,
mistake.
awful. Okay, the numbers at 6 was grow a beard, so we'll skip past that. Walk with an audiobook. I like doing that a lot.
Yeah, me too.
Draw freely like a child. I'm probably not going to do that.
No.
Can I tell you what I did this weekend?
Go on.
That is related to arts and crafts. I basically wanted. I have a dinner party at mine on Friday night, and I wanted. Zara was selling like super skinny candles, like really, like the really thin, really sweet ones, and they do a pack of 20. So I bought them, but obviously, like I don't have like candle holders for like. I mean, they're like this. You can't if you're listening to this, you can't tell, but like they're so skinny. So I bought clay. And I made, I'm going to show you my picture, and I made candle holders for 20 candles.
Clever.
I mean, when I say made, like super small, like I just rolled them into balls, like made them into little squares and put the candles in them.
And wait,
And then I
how-
just let them dry. It's air dry clay.
Awesome.
It's air dry.
Did you paint it or leave it?
I
just
left it because my kitchen's-
like a terracotta. clay,
Exactly.
is it? Nice.
Oh, go on, Charles. That's cool.
I know, look, like that.
Wow.
She's a crafty girl.
Isn't that cool?
That's
actually
I'm
really
so
cool.
pleased with myself.
So, yeah.
I
What a
know.
fun activity.
I feel like they're kind of, once they're all lit, that's all just going to, blend in really
It's
well with my
literally
kitchen.
going to be lit.
Lit is going to be lit.
It's gonna be
And it took like 10 minutes because it's not that hard to
Easy.
roll clay into balls. Oh.
Amazing.
I love
So
that.
have you lit them yet? Or is this
No, it's
coming
for Friday
up?
night. I'll take a photo when it's lit.
Too soon.
Okay, number 10 was help a friend move.
Hell no.
That's a hard no for
No,
me.
Why
no,
would
that
you do
brings nothing
that?
but misery.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Number 12 was walk backwards.
That's
Who is this
scraping the
for?
barrel now.
Turn around and start walking
Wait,
backwards.
hang on. Because I went for a really gorgeous dog walk in Battersea Park on Sunday morning. The sun was out. It was a beautiful morning. And everyone was jogging, cycling, all the rest of it. And as I was walking along, there was a man walking towards me backwards.
Maybe you read that article.
And I looked at my husband and went,
What the fuck is he doing?
that's just really weird. Like, I know why you do that. It's like doing eye yoga. It's all these things that are meant to
Yes.
stimulate stuff to make your brain work harder and
Exactly,
whatever.
that's what it says.
But I reckon that they clearly had just read this feature.
They must have done, because it says begin with 10 steps and build up the distance as you take your brain out of its comfort zone and keep it guessing.
He looked like a newcomer to
Sounds
the
dangerous.
activity, let me say.
Did he look like a Guardian reader?
Yeah. He definitely wasn't. He wasn't a frequent
Okay,
backward
walker.
walker.
Walk back.
We'll go with that. I
Number
like that.
16 is draw on a banana, and this is particularly entertaining for me because when I was 18 was dating this boy who once texted me saying, have you ever written on a banana? And it became this like quite long-standing private joke with my friends because it was such a strange, he was quite strange, it was such a strange thing to say, but it is enormously satisfying. Have you ever done it?
Oh,
Why
I
is it
see.
satisfying?
Yes.
Have you done it?
Yeah, I have.
Have you?
Yeah.
You haven't done it?
No.
If you know, you know.
It feels really.
Oh.
It feels
Feels really good.
Yeah.
Have you done it?
No.
Like, what kind of pen are we talking?
Biro.
Spyro.
It basically glides.
It's really smooth.
It's really hard to explain.
Okay.
Yeah.
We can do it later.
Again, scraping the barrel, I think, here at the end of this article.
Yeah, well, probably that's not even the end. That's number 16 of 53.
Geez, wow.
So what else is
Little
on this?
wins.
Little wins,
It's
yeah.
not the same as putting up a Christmas tree, right?
No, it's
not.
Is
It's
it?
Learn a magic trick.
Oh, yeah, I'd be up for that. We had a
thank
magician at
you.
our wedding. That was great.
That's cool. But doing it yourself?
No, I was not the magician.
Yes.
Funnily enough. The bride.
I did. You had a magician at my wedding, and it was me. There's plenty more things like Scream. I could be down for that.
Oh, I think that's quite a good one.
Okay, number 48 is my favourite. Order a double takeaway. For too long, we've lived under the tyranny of decision making. Just once, and just for the hell of it, abandon it. Order or cook 2 different cuisines on one night and avoid all conflict. I love how they're saying this like this is novel. I definitely at uni did this all the time. Fuse your own foods and taste the chow mein pizza flavoured freedom.
Oh,
One for Lou Huff if she's listening. She's never ordered a takeaway. Maybe she could go in with 2.
Yeah, but she does sort of lies about it because I know that she's never actively ordered a takeaway herself.
But
she
she's
has.
passive.
She's enlisted other people to order deliveries for her.
lying.
Imagine not having a delivery account.
Oh wow.
I don't think she's got one.
Wild.
Weirdo.
Really wild.
Anyway,
Miss you,
if
Lou.
you are looking for but I love you. If you are looking for a list of things that could potentially cheer you up in these dark, gloomy times, then The Guardian has it. Let's instead answer some questions. Someone has asked, I have a big birthday coming up and I would like something really special. I'm thinking diamond jewellery. How nice.
Ooh.
What would you go for if the choice was yours? I mean, I love this question. Georgina, if you had a big birthday coming up and you were after some frosting, what would you go for?
I would go for something I could wear every day, actually, because I think there's no point having, rocks that sit in a cupboard or a box somewhere. I think you just want to wear it. So I would go for something wearable. So probably that would then be like some little diamond necklace or a ring.
Nice. Polly?
Nice.
Yeah, I think I would maybe like a tennis bracelet. If that's quite classic. Or some like little huggy hoops for all my piercings. Some like really nice quality little diamond ones would be chef's kiss.
That's what I would go for. An earring. Something small, but yeah, you want to wear it every day and show it off.
I do think that diamond wearing day to day, like a bit like so many things, has become more and more acceptable. Though, like obviously not if you're walking around with like a Victoria Beckham size engagement ring. But for those, most of us who aren't, I feel like you can just wear your diamond jewellery every. It's so much. It's as much of an investment as ever. But you can get so much more wear out of it than you used to because jewellery layering is so much. Like, Polly, you were talking about your ear stack. Like, how would you layer and wear, if you had a tennis bracelet?
Well, I feel
You would wear it every day, wouldn't you?
Yeah, for sure. And I feel like that whole like stacked up layered look that's a real mix and match of like metal colours, introducing some diamonds, maybe some gemstones, that whole like mishmash look. It doesn't need to be like super polished and really like matchy. I think sometimes more is more and it's okay to mix things up.
Yeah, it's so true. Georgina, I'm checking out your frosting. I don't know why I keep saying that. What a great word. As we speak, you've got a diamond encrusted engagement band. Would you add to your ring roster? Quite fancy a sparkle on this finger, personally.
Which one?
This one.
That one.
This one. My index on my other hand.
I wouldn't mind something for my little finger.
Pinky, interesting.
Pinky. Yeah. Maybe some kind of little diamondy signet thing.
Nice.
But I'd probably go for a bracelet first, actually, if I'm honest.
Interesting. If you are in the market for some diamond jewellery, then we have been working with De Beers, who, since they've been going since 1888. When we talk about heritage brands and luxury brands, they really have the kind of the legacy to back up the goods, don't they? And they have a new collection called the Lotus Collection, which you will have seen on SheerLuxe. Lupita Nyong'o is the face of the collection. It is so beautiful. It is a collection inspired, by by Lotus, which is why it's called the Lotus Collection. And it's beautiful floral jewellery. They've got white, they've got yellow, they've got rose gold, and there is something for everybody. So whether you are looking for a necklace, for earrings, whatever it might be, it's really beautiful. So if you're looking for a feminine, pretty, kind of contemporary way to wear diamonds that does work really well with everything else that you're wearing, then it is such a gorgeous collection. So worth checking out. It's also been worn by, I have a list here, Adele, Lily James, Kate Winslet, and Lupita Nyong'o, as I said, who is obviously in the new Black Panther film, has been out about wearing hers. So you're in very good company if you like the collection. So do go and check it out. And as I say, do go and look at, everything De Beers do, because if you're investing in diamonds, it doesn't get much better than De Beers. Someone has said, someone has said favourite place to buy mini skirts and mini dresses. Quick fire. Where's the best mini skirt that you've seen?
Mini skirts, there is a really nice leather one at Under the Stories right now that I've got my eye on. Frankie Shop. Weekday, I've got some really good, very affordable ones. Mini dresses, I love. Actually, Weekday again, just bought a little black mini dress, and Realisation Par. Great.
Lovely. Somebody has said good everyday bra. Georgina, where do you get bras from?
Oh, I'm a weird size, so don't ask me.
But what does that mean?
I can't go to the high street.
Why, can I ask? What size are you?
Yeah, so I'm a 28 back, which is impossible.
Unheard of. Yeah, wow.
And then an F, 28F. But it's very difficult to buy a bra.
Yeah, that must be.
Yeah,
so
so online. Well, actually, Panache do a range called Masquerade, and so if you are my size, get online and look for something from them.
Sorry, I know you think it's niche, but there are plenty of people who struggle to find, so it's super helpful. So Panache, okay, good to know. Anywhere else?
Bravissimo is also really good, and Freya is one of the more available. You can find that in a few high street department stores and places like that.
Sherri, where's your bras?
Always M&S. I love the minimizer range. If you've got a fuller bust and you just want it to look a little bit less full, that's quite fun.
Yeah. Somebody has said shampoo and conditioner recommendations. What shampoo and conditioner do you use?
Oh my gosh, Davines. I think that's how you say it, or Davines. I want to say Davines. Davines.
Maybe.
So good. Really, it makes your hair look really shiny. It's all very eco-friendly and sustainable. Good for the turtles, I hear specifically. And yeah, it's also paraben-free, sulfate-free. It's a really good natural range.
Great.
Nice.
Polly?
I am a big Olaplex lover, and I also really like JS House shampoo and conditioner. It's quite a new thing for them, but it's all about kind of like scalp health, because if your scalp's healthy, therefore your hair is healthy by inference. But yes, I really like that, and it smells good too.
Good. Final question. Heading to London for a festive day out with a girlfriend, lunch recommendations.
So funnily enough, I posted a question on the SheerLuxe community board because I have got a couple of girls' festive lunches coming up, and I always go to the same place, which is the Ivy Chelsea Garden, because they do, outside it's gorgeous, the garden's gorgeous, you sit in the garden in winter, blankets, candles, it's all lovely. But I have done that quite a few years now, and I do want to go somewhere else. So I need to check back in to see what people have recommended. But you then sent me one. When we found it, we'll add it to the SheerLuxe community.
Yes, we'll add it to the thread. Thank you, Georgina. And that segues me on so nicely to just quickly give a shout out to SheerLuxe Community, which is our new messaging board system. You basically only need a SheerLuxe login. You can go and create a login, and it's basically access to, all of our editors really, and also what the SheerLuxe community are recommending about anything and everything. So if you've got a burning question, whether it's where to find a new cleaner in South West London, or where to book for a girls' lunch, or new podcast recommendations, or where to find a short skirt, that is the space to ask all the questions. You can get recommendations from like-minded SheerLuxe readers and, as we say, from our team. So do check it out. It's got a really fast-growing, active community already. So yeah, another place to go if you've got burning questions that you would like answered, which is great. All right, I think we'll leave it there. I really enjoyed that, everybody. Thank you so much. If you have any feedback, then do please email podcast@sheerluxe.com. We loved hearing from you. Don't forget also to rate, review, subscribe, and tell your friends. And we will see you next time. Bye-bye.